Year 10, lastminute.com, final bits of revision prior to your exam, your Year 10 exam next week, and you're going to have a whole paper 2, and some of it's going to be on the Normans. So you're going to need this booklet. If you were in the lesson, you have this booklet. If not, I've put a PDF copy attached on Bromcom, so you need to get hold of that. Now, I'm not going to go through the first question, because we looked in the lesson at the explain what was important question, which is an 8-marker, 10 minutes, and you're talking about one issue, one event in the Norman story, and you're explaining why that's important, talking about impact. We went through, we completed our diagram like so, looking at 2 ways it was important. We talked about William's military preparations for battle and his propaganda campaign, and moving forward we highlighted point, evidence, explain, really focusing on these connectives that are helping us to explain and add more knowledge. And finally, we looked at his military preparations for battle. Okay, so what you need to do is think about this in terms of adding your own knowledge. So, from my own knowledge, what did William do? And we're using that diagram that we completed earlier on. So, from my own knowledge, what did William do? William recruited mercenaries from across France. They were promised land and money in return for helping in England, helping invade England. And I'm going to use one of my little connectives furthermore. I'm going to highlight that because that's really important, because that is just one of those key things that's allowing me to add more knowledge. William secured Normandy by conquering Maine, so that he could focus on his invasion of England. Additionally, William had experienced cavalry and archers ready for war. So you could have spoken about some other things, could have spoken about the fleet that he built as well, but ultimately it's just getting this idea of the knowledge that you could show, how we're constructing our paragraph. Rule of 3 is a good one. So you see that I've done 3 different, so if I take a look here, 1, 2, and 3. 3, 2, 1. So you see that I've included 3 bits of evidence. The rule of 3 is quite a useful one when it comes to writing your peel paragraphs. So why was it important? Well, this is where our explanation comes in, because if we're explaining importance, it's really crucial that we are able to actually explain that importance and say why things are crucial and why things are significant. So this was important because William had 5,000 experienced Norman troops ready for battle in the autumn of 1066. Okay? This meant that. So I'm going to highlight that because look, that is unlocking more explanation. I can explain more importance simply by putting that. This meant that William's army was better equipped and ready for battle against the English, against the Saxons. William's highly trained army could deploy effective battle tactics such as the feigned retreat, that proved decisive on the battlefield at Hastings. Therefore, William's military prep was important. Alright? So there you go. So that is the kind of thing that you would be talking about. And you can see for that complexity, for that 7-up, right? I'm linking it to Hastings. Decisive on the Battle of Hastings when the Normans broke the shield wall. Broke shield wall. Because I've got big handwriting. So there you go, I've linked it specifically to what happened at Hastings, so I can say why that's important. So our first one, we spoke about the propaganda, the build-up to battle, and this in itself is talking about that military preparation. So these are the kinds of things that we would be talking about if we were writing about that importance question. Remember, this was important because it's crucial, and this meant that this resulted in, this led to, yeah? So for example, I could be saying this proved, or this led to a decisive moment on the battlefield, etc., etc. So I could have done that. So that is your explain what was important question. In the next video, what I'm going to talk about is I'm going to talk about the write an account for change question. So I'll see you very soon when I chat a little bit more about that.